The difference between an aim and an objective in a lesson plan. The entire video it focuses of how to write an aim and an objective when we write lesson plans. Many teachers find it difficult to understand the difference between the aim and objective. As a result, they cannot state them precisely when they write lesson plans. However, in the academic context there is a clear distinction between these terms. Aims, what you hope to achieve. Aims are statements of intent. They are usually written in broad terms. They set out what you hope to achieve at the end of the project/teaching time. In lesson plan writing, it normally has two kinds of the lessons, which are 1. PP, presentation and practice. It refers to teaching any new language or target item, grammar, vocabulary, structure, or any social expression. If you find it hard to state, you can follow a model phrase. For instance, you can write to present and practice. You can put your new language here, what you are planning to achieve. Note, to substitute the word to present, you can also use to introduce, to tell, to show, to guide, to inform, or to illustrate. 2. Paris, practice, revision, and skills. It refers to teaching a skill lesson: speaking, writing, listening, and reading. How to write an aim for these kinds of the lessons is merely to begin with to practice. You can put any new language, structure, vocabulary, or social expression your students have just learned, but they are not sure of it and you want to review it and give them more practices in order to make them understand it clearly. Objective equals the actions you will take in order to achieve the aim. It is a bit smaller than an aim. Objectives, on the other hand, should be specific statements that define measurable outcomes, e.g. what steps will be taken to achieve the desired outcome. The objectives should consist of 3 pans: preface, verb, description of the behavior, Muller, 1991, 73, or the content, knowledge, skill, etc. to be covered and mastered. To be consistent, it is suggested that each set of objectives start with one uniform preface. For instance, unit objectives may start with something like @ by the end of this unit or section, the learners or students are able or expected to. The verb articulates the behavior or activity the students should do. And the description of the behavior indicates the competency that students should demonstrate. As for performance objectives specifically, they should comprise 3 components: 1. Performance or behavior, 2. Conditions, and 3. Standards. Performance articulates the terminal performance, that is, what the student will be able to do. Conditions describe the importance or specific conditions under which the student will demonstrate that performance. Whereas standards express the criteria of acceptable performance, i.e., how well the student will have to perform to reach those criteria. The standards component can be couched in terms of 3 alternatives: A specific standard, B, an acceptable standard by a judge, or C, an implied level of standard. The last alternative is recommended for the reason that unlike in such subjects as maths and physics, it is more difficult to state specifically in language courses, and that it does not seem to be necessary to do so either. Furthermore, since performance objectives articulate performance that is observable and they should contain action verbs and exclude the non-action ones. Here are some suggested action verbs: relate, evaluate, contrast, show, organize, diagnose, synthesize, list, calculate, name, measure, compare, solve, merge, critique, define, assist, assess, select, identify, distinguish, locate, recall, underline, match, summarize, categorize, explain, describe, design, state, observe, demonstrate, construct, tell, label, outline, illustrate, specify, and differentiate, etc. And here are some avoiding state verbs: know, appreciate, believe, familiarize, acquaint, perceive, feel, master, understand, enjoy, realize, ascertain, regard, remember, comprehend, etc. In addition to mentioning above, the objectives should also be SMART, which means they should be specific, be precise about what you are going to do. Measurable, you will know when you have reached your goal. Achievable, don't attempt too much, A less ambitious but completed objective is better than an overambitious one that you cannot possibly achieve. Realistic: do you have the necessary resources to achieve the objective, time, money, skills, etc.? Time constrained: determine when each stage needs to be completed. Is there time in your schedule to allow for unexpected delays?